but if they can't build up a significant enough lead, I think YOMI Tanuki in a defense situation could stall this game out an incredibly long time and potentially just find themselves scaling into a win.
Already in year 10, we've got a sparks flying startup of the game. Let's throw it over to game number 1 with Dulcin and Gormizer.
We have got 6 teams in the SPL right now, and by the end of this weekend, we will add 2 more.
Than Rotwin and Warchi are on an Akina and a Naja. Although I will give them the credit, they both have the AoE autos in their attack chain.
Well, we've seen a lot of this already in games in year 10, and it's been a level 2, level 3 gank from junglers over to duo lane more often than not. Grave rotates going on. Some of the early relic choices.
I actually really like it too, because especially when you've been thinking about the Carapace shard, in my mind it seems very supporting, but I like the way they've swapped it, because you can just do something like that. I mean, if you think about it, who's hitting the autos the most here? It's going to be Shinigami, right? You're going to be weaving a lot of abilities there for Promise. So Promise, with this kind of shard choice, gets a lot more of the stuns, where in theory, especially if you go back to the days of an assassin, specifically Naja as your support.
Hello. Goodbye.
Very easy. Grave shows up. Yeah, I guess that's a pretty one, straight and forward.
And we'll look back at this kill. I think this might end up just being really simple.
Grave
is
there.
It's a Rude, a pullback, and a bit of damage. And the spit from Rundus, actually. Last bit there, and the last bit of mana. It's down to half. But Rotwin and Warchi, they're here. That's a triple taunt in. And the YOMI Tanuki confirm the Gold Fury on another shaker from XD, and there's a kill on the back end as well. A fantastic rotation in from mid. And that'll keep the ball going. Another one for the YOMI Tanuki and the Valhalla Valkyries. They've got to get out, but it'll be a stun over the wall and a double kill for XD. And the Tanuki have blown this game open.
Friendly reminder that upon submission, XD wasn't the guy on the roster. He's filling in here.
The lane I'm most excited to see throughout the course of this weekend, we have got some really talented duo lanes playing in the SPL Promotion Tournament. Right now, Shinigami and Promise are doing it all. Warchi at 0-3 is going to get some help from his jungler. Worst Turtle over on left, but Shinigami is so strong. A double stun from the Kronos and nearly has enough damage, but doesn't. And it's Worst Turtle on the gank needed for the Valhalla Valkyries. Warchi able to survive, but can Grave get done here? We're tower diving. Right back out we go. YOMI Tanuki unable to trade back, and a little life from the Valks on left.
And honestly, needed at this point, right? Admittedly, it gets a little close for you.
No!
I know, there it all falls apart.
Oh, man.
I was just going to say you got out alive. That was the part that mattered the most. Your duo lane finally got to really open up the door and start knocking down what is the rest of the objective standing up for the Valkyries.
Well, Valks are not going to rotate over to left. Nil was already here, so it's Worst Turtle. That's a beautiful Rivers Rebuke. XD will pick up the kill, and it looks like the YOMI Tanuki are going to head back towards the Fire Giant as well. We'll see. This is now data collection for us in the early goings of year 10. How these runic bombs are going to get used. You imagine objective secure. Promise holds on to it. Actually doesn't need it. Worst Turtle. 7 stacks on that right now. So you get some value, of course, from it immediately, but as far as full power, it's going to take a little bit of time. What a pull from Grave right down Main Street, and that is maybe now completely open to the door to the siege if it weren't already creaked open anyway. Rundus into the World Serpent, and a chase down from the rest of the YOMI Tanuki to follow. Phoenix is an afterthought. Runic Bomb used by Promise. And the door, Gore, I think, was already halfway open, slammed open on a nice pull.
And I think a lot of it is going to be not having range damage in the physical, being able to get something with more clear in the duo lane. I mean, you were talking about it being excited for it. I think the duo lane is very important because look at the damage output from just Shinigami there, ignoring what XD can do. It is insane. And that's just the Kronos right now.
Well, just a moment ago, not on this pick, but the same thing that happened on the left side, Phoenix. Grave doing the "you guys stink" across the player booths from one another. So much personality rolls through in weekends like this, especially with these players with something to prove. YOMI Tanuki, they've proven something in game 1. That a 3-man stun from Nil won't matter. Worst Turtle, the only kill for the Valhalla Valkyries in this game may end that way, as somehow the backline has survived. Shinigami will add one more, and there's still a World Serpent from Rundus. buy just a bit more space. Fire minions making their way down mid and left. Soon to be right as well.
See, that Phoenix took a little longer because they didn't have an extra
Didn't have
runic
the-
bomb
That's right, they didn't have
for
the
that
runic
one.
bump.
No, I mean, look, the kills they have, the setup they have, this is all just formalities. You still have a good cluster if you're the Valkyries. It's not easy to just walk in and kill the Titan here. I mean, you got to look at it. They've had a 10,000 plus gold lead for 10, 15 minutes now.
Yeah.
It has been too difficult to try and break things down. Left side Phoenix in a respawn soon.
Oh no.
I like the clean play from the Tanuki, but if they get a kill, should be done.
Look, Warchi's 2 levels down, and Rundus is, you know, a full item ahead. I still look at that damage. Well, he's gotten Soul Reaver as well, so not everything to glean from this type of build, but a double kill from XD, not too bad of a way to close things out here in game number 1. And I've loved what I've seen from the YOMI Tanuki. They were aggressive early, they were aggressive often. And really, Gore, they were able to funnel pressure through Grave, who's had a fantastic start to his SPL promotional tournament. Valks will get one on the back end, but simply not nearly enough in
Composition,
happiness.
where I'm only thinking only 2 of them maybe are really going to be slotting Tablet of Destinies, should be dominating early on. So if the Valkyries are able to put the pressure on a YOMI Tanuki, then it doesn't really matter that your late game objectives aren't good if you can make sure late game doesn't come.
Well, can the Valkyries hold out early and keep this one going, give themselves a shot at game number 3, or are the YOMI Tanuki going to run away with it? Let's jump right into game number 2 with Dulcin and Gore.
You know, Gore, sometimes at these events we'll go entire days without seeing a opportunity for nil. Actually, I think unfortunately a minion drew tower aggro there, so no tower shots connecting with the RDO. Worst Turtle over to Duo, but Grave is here as well. Can the Pele go in? Sure can! Worst Turtle knocked up. And another first blood from the YOMI Tanuki. And it's Grave yet again at level 3, making waves in Duo.
And I wanted to say
Nerfed
this.
a bit, right? But still in a very strong spot.
He
You
has
know,
been my go-to support all season so far, all
Should be.
year so far.
Great start. Oh, and the cripple field working wonderfully here, though nil. Able to driving strike out. And Grave with another. Suddenly, the seeds of doubt sown over game 2.
Scary meta, right?
Yep.
He just kept saying it, and with every team, he was able to bring it up because everyone's got a great jump.
Well, this is what you need if you're the Valhalla Valkyrie. Send 3 to solo, but you gotta get the kill. Rundus dodges out the Mystic Rush, but Worst Turtle still able to close that gap.
Uh-oh.
Now Grave with it all to do. Shoved against the wall. The Valkyries able to answer back with a couple. That's something we didn't see from Rotwin at all in game 1, Gore. There was never that opportunity. Was use that global pressure to get away. Got out of hell. Needed by warchi. Rundus has finished the tablet. He's going to want to step forward and trade out a bit of damage. Warchi does not have Bat out of hell yet. Very close to getting it back. Doesn't need it. The Shinigami might need to rewind. Standing and fighting, however, on the Chronos, we get full value from the pullback. Beads now off of Warchi as well.
Stun?
Stun not connecting, but it does! From Shinigami in the pullback. My goodness, Warchi somehow standing and fighting, still does not have Bat out of hell. Just got it back, 1 second away from dying. Drop he does, a landfall. Falls on the Worst Turtle. Around the backside, the Tiamat, Ray Shadow had a mid lane, but Grave is getting it done in lane. A Mystic Rush out from Worst Turtle, not enough, a triple for Grave, and he might keep it rolling. A quad potentially, as Ray Shadow has dropped the beads. Grave will drop 3 at least, and a 4th seems to just escape beneath the tower.
I mean, look, we're talking such a clean engagement. If Shinigami does get burned early in that fight, Promise is playing out of their mind with the pulls, and like you said, even though the stun from the leap on the Maui didn't connect.
Ooh,
It was enough
risky.
elsewhere.
Risky Ray Shadow. Ray Shadow will live though. Gets the kill on XD, but Grave, of course, Grave is here. Grave does not have ultimate. Not for just a moment. Doesn't have blink, but gets a kill nonetheless. Great rotation out, a duo from Promise. And oh no, now Grave does have ultimate. And a double kill on the Pele. 7-1 for the jungler, the YOMI Tanuki.
To have
Knows
your
something
jungler
about
like, not just in terms of the game map, but really on the actual map itself. The presence in left, the presence in mid, the ganks have been on point.
Well, there you go. That's something we didn't see a lot of, Gore, in the first game.
Yeah.
Now I've seen a couple of times in a row for the Valhalla Valkyries is Vulcan traditionally punishable.
The amount of pressure the two of them can apply in duo. Shinigami's feeling too
Man.
heavy-handed.
Well, we're going again in mid. The Valhalla Valkyries have just run at XD over the last few minutes of this game. 0-3 on the Vulcan. And a lot of those ganked over in solo is stabilized just fine. Tablet on RDO. Sends shivers down my spine. And it's worked just fine. Look at Shinigami damage. Warchi desperately needed that bat out of hell. And Shinigami's positioning here. Shinigami could 2v1 this.
Oh, yeah.
If given the opening. He could just turn and start sending some damage towards Rotwin. But you gotta play this perfectly. The taunt doesn't set up for any damage. Stun, dodged out, and rewind from Shinigami. And that'll open up the disengage from the Valhalla Valkyries. 8th kill of the game for Grave, by the way. Nil has died off over in solo. Fantastic sidestep from Shinigami. Landfall, no good. It's another miss from Promise. And the Chronos, for now, able to get out, but jumped on by Worst Turtle. As a rotation in from Ray Shadow has handed some assistance to the Valks on left.
They needed to invest a lot.
Shakers as secure every single time. Should not be out confirmed by anyone. However, the Tanuki backing away. Our first big team fight is Earthshaker. Has found nil. It's found nothing. 4-man taunt in from Rotwin. It's the GOAT. It's Goatwin setting up for the Valhalla Valkyries from a deficit from the depths. It's Rotwin who's found it. And the rest of the Valks follow in. 3 kills drop. Now Shinigami, he'll be left to the wolves. And the Valks sweep through 4.
And they do exactly what Mifflin had highlighted on the desk, what they were talking about going into this game, which is not falling behind in the early game. Admittedly, maybe trying to get ahead in the early game didn't happen as easily as they would have liked. But then you get to the team fight stage, and if you get an engage like that, I don't care what your backup is. If your support pulls something like that, you've got to get something done, and they stepped up to the
Completely flips this game around. Even after that fight and after that Fury, the Valks were down about 2,000 gold.
Yeah.
Now, first Pyromancer of the set for the Valkyries. Potential for game 3 just around the corner as life arrives for the Valkyries. However, is it death? No, not just yet. But Worst Turtle's got to get out, and Rotwin ulted away as well. So the Athena's out of the fight for just a moment. Runda's still running the front line for the Yomi Tanuki. Shell gets used. Ray Shadow desperately trying to disengage, and a stun on the follow-up from Promise. Hands one to Shinigami.
Warchi is just not in a position to get out of here. Good couple of kills from the Tanuki. And this is where the downside,
right to
you
FG.
just picked up 2 clean objectives. Well, maybe not clean. You picked up 2 great objectives from the Valkyries. And now you might end up losing one just because of the fact that that fight goes around.
Now remember, Rotwin has Runic Bomb here. Consider that a 1,000 damage burst, so has a chance to fight into the fight.
Use it.
Great target for the Yomi Tanuki. He did use the Runic Bomb, doesn't matter. Now, I don't know, you do have an Excavate. Gonna be a bit different from being able to walk forward and drop the Runic Bomb. Range, not all that crazy on the bomb anyway. Nil hovering around the corner. Okay, taking him out, and a damage from Worst Turtle. How has this happened? Fire Giant given to the Yomi Tanuki, though. Nil not given the chance, or took the chance.
That is going to amass a little bit more of a comfort zone.
Man, that is a mean hook from Promise. Keeps Rotwin right in place for so long. You have to be careful here. There's a lot of damage for the Yomi Tanuki. Earthshaker off the mark once again from XD. Landfall onto 2, though. It's an Aegis from Ray Shadow that keeps the team out on the map just a bit longer. Massive pull from Nil, but doesn't matter. On a double from Shinigami. And the Tanuki, they have gone through it this game. So have the Valhalla Valkyries. They will not look for the end. Instead, will just grab the long lane once in a while. But the Vulcan has just been getting jumped on constantly. That'll give XD another opportunity. Excavate! Oh, that was close yet again from Nil. Not a steal, though. Fire Giant wears off, picked up. And a kill onto the solo laner. That just softens up the defense of the Valkyries. And only 1 Phoenix left to drop between the Tanuki and their first win of the weekend.
Very easy opportunity. Look, 40 seconds without Nil. You're not going to have to worry about him if you can get the fight going soon enough. You got the Fire Giant on 4 or on 5, and immediately you're running in. I think with Grave at 8 and 2, you have a lot of damage capabilities. I'm keeping my eyes specifically on Promise for a pull.
And you might not even need the right side, Phoenix. Just one more fight, and Ray Shadow on the other end of an Aegis is death. It's a killing spree for XD, and it's an Earthshaker down onto the Titan. The assistance from the Titan enough, and here's your alternate timeline as XD is back on the map and might actually get a kill on a double from Shinigami. And that'll give a game 2 and a set 1 win to the Yomi Tanuki.
I'd give that item a lot of hell last year because there were so many times where we saw